Hello Realtors, and welcome to your SCR update. This is episode number 378. It is December the 15th, and happy holidays everyone. Obviously we are not at the SCR studios today. We are in our neighborhood.
Exactly.
We're at the Pee Dee REALTORS Association's office, and we've got this beautiful backdrop today, and wanted to spend a few minutes with you. Your SCR update is your go-to source for everything you need to be successful in your business. And but today we're not going to talk about market statistics. We're not going to talk about the latest legal issues. This is our kind of our year-end wrap-up, and I'm very fortunate to have served this year with President Keon Aldrich, who is joining me today. Keon, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Realtors.
It has been a whirlwind of a year. 2025, unbelievably, has come and almost gone. We've got just a few more days until we're celebrating the new year. And I thought what we would do today is spend a few minutes together with President Keon and recapping the year and looking back at some of the highlights and successes of the year. So, Keon, if you're ready,
I'm ready.
Let's dive right in.
Wait a minute, we don't have it where they can ask questions too, do we?
No, we don't have a live audience. We just have our tech director, Mike, here on the road with us today. We've got our roadie crew. So, Mike, thanks for being here today and getting all of this set up for us. Let's start with the historic element of this year, Keon. And you've made history this year as the first African American president of the association. And as I was preparing for this over the weekend, I thought about something that we haven't really talked about before. Because you just didn't roll into your leadership role as president, you've served many roles throughout the preceding years to get you to the position of president of the association. You were the first African-American secretary of the association, the first African-American treasurer of the association, the first African-American president-elect of the association, first NAR director African-American that the association had.
Wow.
And, you know, you've had now many years in these milestone positions, and frankly, I don't think we've ever even talked about those other milestone achievements or accomplishments.
I don't think I even realized that I was the first as an NAR director at SCR.
Absolutely, and I know all of these leadership roles have had personal significance to you, but what do you think that your milestone achievements mean to future leaders that are coming into these roles at their local and state associations?
So for me, Nick, I would say, you know, those are amazing accomplishments that I do take very personal, and I appreciate every last one of them for the members giving me the opportunity. But even before that, I was the first Black president of this local association. So just, you know, going back to 2018, being the first Black president that our association ever had, I don't take it lightly. I understand the responsibility that lies on my shoulders. It's a lot, but I appreciate the opportunity. And one thing that I do want to make sure is that the future leaders know that the door is always open. There's always a seat at the table at SCR. We appreciate their voices. We want to make sure that everybody knows that there's room, that they belong in a room. You know, don't ever feel like you have to tiptoe in a room. I was at an association, a local association not long ago, and to hear or see the diversity in the room, it just warmed my heart because we've never really seen it that way. I remember coming to SCR events and, like you say, being the only Black in the room, or seeing me and another Black, only two of us in a room at the same time. And I'm talking about less than 10 years ago. So to walk in a SCR room now and see the diversity, it just means the world to me. And, you know, to feel like I'm a part of that I helped change that, that's definitely something to be proud of, and I am.
You should be. I know I've personally seen that growth through all levels of our association in South Carolina. I think we stand heads and shoulders above most other states in the country when it comes to inviting members to participate in leadership. And I certainly think when we look back at your legacy as president in your leadership, bringing realtors to the table from all backgrounds, all the variety of elements that we've seen there, it's been amazing.
And even with that, Nick, being called upon from local associations, asking the questions, because I know as a leader of SCR, and there's always that fine line that people are afraid to cross. But I think our members know with me that I'm an open book. If there's a question that you have, ask me. So being called upon to ask, Keon, how do we get more diversity in our local association? Can you help us get that in our local association? I mean, that alone means so much to me, and that lets me know that they trust me. They know that I trust them, and we can have that open dialogue.
Now, as we've said, you've had lots of different leadership positions over the years. And when you first became a realtor, you probably never even thought about being a local board president, or maybe not even serving on a committee.
Not at all.
So how has your leadership style evolved from that first local board leadership position to today?
So I will tell you, it took a long time for me to get to that local leadership level. I kept running from it because that's not what I got in real estate for. I got in real estate to sell houses, but once it hit me, but once it bit me, it was just something that I wanted to do. So to ask how did it change from locally to state, even nationally, just the growth. I've noticed growth in me. I've noticed my growth. If nobody else has, I definitely have noticed it. I was a little hot-head, if you can imagine that, when I first got into real estate. It's been great though, just to notice my own growth, and to see, we laugh a lot because my MLS director, who's probably peeping in, she's my mama in real estate, as she says it, but she's been around as long as I have. And sometimes when I'm on stage, I'll catch her staring at me like a proud parent because she sees that growth in me. She talks about it often. So, just being able to grow in this business, be teachable. In 2018, when I was the local president, I think I did like a lot of confidence that I don't like now. I definitely have the confidence to lead, and it's just been amazing to watch myself, amongst others, watching and saying and telling me what they see, but seeing it in myself.
So how did you switch from that slight lack of confidence into being a confident leader? What was the trigger that changed that for you? And because I know when we travel around the state together, we see a lot of great realtors who, I think they're missing that little bit of confidence that would step them up to their next leadership role. What made the difference for you?
Believing in myself, and knowing that the only person that I was afraid of was myself. Everybody else around me wanted to see me do great. They wanted to see me do great things and told me that they wanted to see me do great things. But it wasn't until I started believing it myself that I could do the great things that I started building that confidence that I needed. And one thing I would throw in as well in that mix, when you're involved in the association, you get that peek behind the curtain, right? Yes,
so
definitely.
So you always you have the latest information on what's happening in the industry. You know what's going on in the various lawsuits and regulation and legislation and all these things. Knowledge is power.
And that knowledge helps you grow again, with the growth part and with the confidence, because you know what you're talking about when you're able to speak to different associations. So knowing and understanding and just being able to study what goes on behind the scenes helps out a lot. And one thing that helped me and made me really open my eyes was one of our members came up to me, and is it okay if I say names?
Sure, of course.
I remember a couple of years ago, it was maybe 2019, Laura Derrick came up to me and she said, "We're talking about you."
Laura Derrick is a past president from Columbia.
Yeah, and she said, "We're talking about you." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "We're talking about you being state president, and it's not if you can do it, it's if you want it." And I don't think she understood just that small conversation, because that was all she said to me. It wasn't, we didn't go any further. I didn't ask, "What do you mean?" Who's talking about me, any of that. But it was just that small conversation that stuck with me. And it has always stuck with me, that it's not if I can do it. So people were talking about me, were watching me, and they knew I could do this job. They knew I could step into this role. But I continuously had to build that confidence on my own to know that I could do it.
That reminds me of a realtor in Hilton Head that we met a few years ago, who was in a different career and worked with clients who were realtors. Mm-hmm. And when she expressed some interest in becoming a realtor, they told her, "Oh, you should stick with what you're doing. You probably couldn't be a realtor." And she took that as a challenge, mm-hmm. and today she has the largest African-American owned real estate brokerage in Beaufort County.
Yeah.
You remember her?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, I'm sorry.
Carmen Washington.
That's it. Great job. That's why we make a great team.
That's why we work so well together.
One thing that I always warn every president, at the beginning of every year, we have our strategic plan, we have our budget, we have our schedule of meetings, but I always warn every president there's going to be some unexpected thing that comes out of the blue that we have to deal with. Every year there's some surprise. Some years it's been big surprises.
Oh, yeah.
We had COVID, recessions, pandemics, and whatnot. Was there a challenge or a moment this year that caught you by surprise, and how did you navigate it?
So like you said, we've had so many large surprises. We've had the settlement, we've had COVID, but we've always gotten through those things as we should, to make sure that our members are able to sell real estate. I think one of the surprises for me was the forms. I've never been on forums prior to getting into leadership. Didn't even know that it was a forms committee prior, and most members don't if you're not involved. So I didn't know that it was an actual forms committee. So just seeing the shift in the forms committee, of course, we started out with one chair, and I appreciate she resigned because she had some family issues, and we're still praying for her. But appointing a new forms chair, and he took us to the finish line. He picked that ball up, Matthew Thrift, and he's just been amazing with that forms committee. And again, being able to see what happens from behind the scenes, the committees, the different opinions of how the form should look for each association, because all associations, they don't run their business the same, which doesn't mean that it's a good thing or a bad thing. Who am I to make that decision? But everybody does things differently in each association. So trying to get that form to work for all of our members has been a big job.
It's always a challenge.
Yeah, it's been a big job for the leadership team. It's been a big job for you in Austin, and like I say, for the forms committee. But watching it come together, because they may not always agree, but I feel like by the time we get to the end of that call, everybody sees and respects everybody's point of view on those forms. So watching that come together for our members, and yes, we will get it done. So that's not, even though we're switching over next year as far as chairs, we're still working through it and getting it done for our members. So just kind of watching that and being able to see on the forefront of what's happening, and being there and being able to understand and have a voice in it, because again, they listen to, if I have an opinion, I'm able to tell them my opinion of the forms, because once you start working on those forms in front of a client, you start thinking like, this doesn't sound quite right. let me call Matthew or let me call Austin. So, it's just watching from the beginning to the end how everybody's kind of throwing in their different opinions and then watching it all come together for the best of our members.
Yeah, it's probably, of all the committees at SCR, it's probably the hardest working one, the one that impacts members, statewide every single time they make a decision or a change. And realtors, yes, there are more forms changes coming, and there always will be. The forms evolve as the market evolves, and we've got to have the latest language, we've got to have the latest tools, and appointing Matthew this year, we talk about people being in the right place at the right time, and that was a great decision for the committee.
Well, thank you.
So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about community engagement. I know that as a local leader here in the PD, you've secured grants, the NAR community grants to help improve some of the downtown areas. You've served on the Habitat Board or are on the Habitat Board currently, have helped with Harvest Hope. And, we always say realtors just don't sell homes, right? They sell communities. How important is it for realtors to be involved in their communities?
It is very important, and to make sure that they're doing it for the right reasons. I have members locally that say, "Get me on this board." I'm like, it's not a paid board, Make sure you know that you're doing it from your heart. This is definitely what you're doing it for. You're doing it for the love of the organization. So just making sure that people see you. I will say I've been still traveling around the state and seeing that a lot of the local boards, they are involved. They do home buyer seminars within the communities, making sure that the community and the members in the community understand the importance of home ownership. And even locally here, we've recently had one in Lake City, and we had housing authority. We had the mayor come out, city manager come out, and everybody speak. We had different vendors of lenders, and it was a lot of one-on-ones with the community, because a lot of people don't know. They don't understand the importance of home ownership, or they don't think that they can obtain that. They think that renting is all that they can ever do. So just getting that great information out. Like you said, I'm on the Habitat Board. We have our local board of directors go out, like we say, voluntold a lot of times, because I'll just send them the forms to fill out. But they're out in the community and they're helping build the Habitat homes. Yep. And we do that every single year. And I know we're not the only association that does that, because I follow a lot of different associations on Facebook, and I see that they're out in the community doing that as well. And to me, that's one of the biggest things giving back that you can do, because that future owner is there with her family or his family doing sweat equity hours, because that's what it's called. Yep. And so we're a part of helping that person get those sweat equity hours. So that's a good thing for the community and for the realtors.
That's, NAR recognizes the Good Neighbor Award winners every year, right? They select 5 realtors from across the country that do amazing things in their communities. And we often ask members, hey, let us know when you've done something, to give back to your community. And most members don't want the recognition, right? They don't want to be out there as it's not a PR stunt.
No, it's not.
It's really given from their heart. I was in Pam's office, the local AE here, and if you walk into her office right now, you'll see bags and bags of toys that the YPN chapter collected.
Yes.
And you and I were in Columbia a couple of weeks ago for their Thanksgiving breakfast, where they collected blankets and hundreds of blankets for those in need. I think
they collected over 500 blankets.
Wow.
And I think that's a low number that I'm doing. And so, I thought that was an amazing event, because even the blankets that we saw, that wasn't half of them. A lot of their members did not bring all the blankets in because they were going to put it in a van to deliver. So I know a lot of the local associations, they do that, as well as our DEI committee. They do Christmas in July. So we start in July collecting coats for a lot of the local schools.
Oh, wow.
And we deliver. It started out maybe 3 or 4 schools, but we're up to maybe 6 to 8 schools in our community, and not just in the Florence area, because we service 8 counties. So we started reaching out to other counties as well. And just to see the pictures and see the smiles on not only the kids' face, but the staff's face, because, you know, I know it hurts their heart to see a lot of kids, especially in 24 degrees weather today that we're having, to come to school without a coat. So for us to be able to give coats out, whether it's a small number or a large number, they are very appreciative of that.
Well, Realtors, let me just say an official thank you to all of you that give back to your communities, especially this time of year, but throughout the year. You know, I know there are some events where in the summertime you're collecting fans and giving them to seniors, and all the different things that are done throughout the year. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Realtors live, work, and play in the communities that they serve. And you make a difference. And I know all of you don't always want to brag about it, but we're bragging for you now. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, Nick, you say that, but about not wanting the recognition. Locally we have an award, like a Good Neighbor Award on a local level. And I promise you, it's like pulling teeth to get somebody to apply for that award, to win that award. And we'll give money towards that organization. They will not. They don't want it. Because they're doing it for the right reasons. And I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love that about us. I love that for us, because that just shows that we're doing everything that we want to do, or that we're doing it for the right reasons.
Well, you know, that kind of leads us into the next segment here. We're going to talk a little bit about professionalism, and I think that sense of community spirit, again, is part of the realtor professional ethos, their integrity as realtors, and you and I have had lots of conversations about professionalism and ethics in the business, and you've served on the grievance committee and have been a champion for professionalism. Where have you seen examples of professionalism this year as president? What's stood out to you?
For me, it's just been how our members have been handling all the different situations that we've gone through. And we can go all the way back to last year with the settlement. You know, none of us like it, but there's a lot of things that we don't like that we can't change. And I think once we got over the sour taste in our mouth about the settlement, everybody was willing to just kind of go with it. You know, they knew that SCR, we were always going to be ahead of the 8 ball with whatever needed to be done. So whatever information that you gave out, which you were great last year, giving us the information. Immediate past president Rhea Smith was amazing with all of those town halls that she did. But I think just following suit. Our members really just kind of followed suit. They knew that we took care of them. They put the trust in the leadership team, and they knew that we would make sure that everything was going to be okay. And they just wanted to hear that they were going to be okay. Yeah. And we gave them that sense of security. So just watching the growth in the members and making sure that no one actually had a temper tantrum was really good.
There might have been one or two.
There might have been one or two, but out of 30,000, I'll take that.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You know, over the years, we've seen a lot, and realtors are resilient.
They really are.
I think that's an incredible word to use for our members. Whether we're talking about in 08, the shift to, short sales and foreclosures, right? How many members today have ever done a foreclosure sale? You know, it's probably very, very small percentage. Hopefully we never see those days again.
I hope not, because I will tell you, during that time in my office, we were trying to figure out which one of us was going to apply for the Walmart greeter job, because we were a little nervous at the time, but we got through it. Just like you say, realtors are resilient, so we did get through it.
We lost half our membership in
2012. Yeah, we were trying to figure out what we were going to
do. And we've gone through TRID, we've gone through the challenges with COVID and how to practice real estate safely during those restrictions. And realtors are entrepreneurs at their heart, and they're resilient in their bones.
They really are.
It's one of the reasons I love serving this industry. And as you mentioned, Rhea, our immediate past president. She will be rolling off of her role as an officer of the association this year. And soon you'll be passing the gavel to Corwin Millett, realtor from Charleston, who will be stepping up as president in 2026. What's some advice that you would give to the leadership team next year?
Give me a lot of it, excuse absences. I'm just kidding. But, the main thing is, I think this is something that we've taken along the way, at least as long as I've been on the leadership team, that there's no I in team. We become family, and that's what I love about SCR, the way we do things. We become a family from day one as secretary on up. Just know that you can lean on everybody on that leadership team, and not just the leadership team. You can lean on the members. I know when I first started day one as president, and the members started calling and checking on me, and they were like, "What do you need from us?" Members just asking me, "You're asking the president, what do I need?" So, okay, let's go for it. And what did I need? I just needed to be checked on. And I will tell you, throughout the year, I've received so many handwritten cards, postcards from our members, just checking on me, just making sure I'm okay, or just reassuring me that I'm doing a great job. And, I don't do this for the pat on the back. I do this because I love what I do. But it always feels good when someone lets you know that you're doing a great job.
The other, going back to kind of what we were talking about at the very beginning about, how, by serving in leadership roles, you tend to receive a lot more than you give, right? And not just, some people think, well, you build this network, it's good for your business. It is good for your business.
Right.
But it's also good on a personal level.
Oh my goodness.
Because you make friendships, you meet people. I often tell members, I feel comfortable traveling anywhere in the country, because if I get a flat tire on the side of the road, I can look up the local association executive.
That's the truth.
And I know somebody's going to come out and help me.
That is so true. And we talk about that a lot, because even within the state, I was telling you when I dropped my son off at a camp at Erskine in Due West, South Carolina, and I posted on Facebook. I had a member.
She's very protective of her son.
Very. I had a member text me out of the blue and say, "Hey, I saw that you dropped your son off. I live 5 minutes from Erskine College. Let me know if you need anything this week."
That's what the Realtor family is all about.
And we are truly a family, and not just on a state level. Like you said, just anywhere in the country, I feel safe because I know I can reach out to somebody.
So when we were in Houston a few weeks ago for the national conference, Kevin Sears, who has served as president for almost 2 years, or actually a little bit longer than 2 years.
Well, he knows the actual number of days.
Yeah, it's like 700 something,
680 something,
something like that. And I remember one of the questions that he was asked as he was wrapping up that final board meeting was, well, what are you going to do now? Now that you're not president, what's the first thing you're going to do? So let me ask you, now that you have spent literally the last 7-8 years in various state leadership roles, and she will still be an officer of the association next year, so she's not going anywhere. But what's your first thing you're going to do as stepping away from your president's role? Well,
the first thing I need to do is go home and let my husband know that I agreed to be vice chair of the Leadership Academy next year. So it still doesn't stop. But there's so many people I need to reintroduce myself to. Best friends who I haven't been able to go to dinners with, miss birthdays. I have a little niece that turned 4. I missed her birthday because we were in Houston. No. I missed it the year before because we were, in Boston, San Diego. I'm always missing different things. So I need to make sure that I'm still Denala's favorite TT. just, I've had so many different milestones that I tried not to miss with, my kids and things like that because, now as I tell everybody, Brayson graduated from high school this year this year's president. Took him off to college, so now I'm an empty nester. So got to figure that out a little bit because still haven't figured that out because I've been traveling so much. So I don't think I'll ever rest because the title is not there, I'm going to always be serving. This is something, ask me that in like 2028.
That's what realtors do.
Ask me that in 2028.
Yeah.
I may get some rest then.
So, final question as we wrap this up today. As you know, we've talked a little bit about your legacy as president, the milestone achievements you've had in your career. Looking back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what do you think your legacy will be? I know it's an unfair question, but what do you think? I'll tell you what I think it's going to be, but let me hear what you think it'll be.
So I think it will be that I served from a servant's heart, that I believe in this association. You always want to leave it better than you found it, but I don't think that fits the mold here. We're a great association, and I truly believe that. But I want people to remember me for always being the one to give out the hugs, make their day better if I could. And I don't know, Nick. This has just been a great year for me. And so leaving a legacy is kind of hard with everything that I feel like I've accomplished. It's just hard to pick one thing.
I'll tell you from my standpoint, I don't want to get emotional here with you, but your legacy for me is now. It's not 10 years from now. It's not 20 years from now. I'll tell our members a quick story. When you had your first local board meeting as president. Now, I'd been attending Pee Dee Realtor meetings for a very long time, always over at the country club, right? And I walk into the room. I was running a few minutes late that day, and you had asked me to come. This was your first official board meeting. And I walked into the room, and I thought I'd walked into the wrong room. I did not recognize the realtors in the room. All of the I don't want to say old realtors, but the regulars. I didn't see the regulars there, and I realized within a few minutes that leadership attracts leadership, and your leadership that year as president brought a lot of members to the table.
Yes.
And have continued to do that. And I've seen that impact at every association across the state, bringing people to the table, bringing everyone to the table. And so your legacy for me is now, is the impact you've made will forever make us a better organization.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I want to say thank you.
Thank you. I try my best. And, just kind of leading, coming off of that, I try my best I consider myself a connector. And I think we've discussed this before, that I try to make sure people are connected in a room. Because I feel like I know everybody, all of our members. And I think some people think I know all of our members. But if I know a member that has something in common with another member, even if they're not in the same association, but if we're in an SCR event and I know a member that has something in common with another member, I try to make sure I bring them together to connect with each other. Find something other than what I think you have in common. Find some common ground. If nothing else, exchange business cards, and now you have someone that you can refer to. I try to make sure that I'm always in a great mood, which I am most of the time.
You're always in a great mood.
Yeah, I'm in a great mood because I feel like sometimes your energy can rub off on other people in a room.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I want to make sure that I always bring the best Keon that I can into every room that I step into. So, just connecting people. And I have this running joke with another member down in Charleston that she really did not like networking. She was really to herself. She liked leadership, but she didn't. And I used to say, get away from me. Go meet 5 realtors and bring me their business cards.
Yeah.
And so once she started doing that about 5 years ago, it's funny, she'll call me now and say, I still do that even though you're not in the room with me.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel really good that, I do a lot of talking and I'm very opinionated, but now you don't always have to take what I tell you and do it. But to know that she did that and it made a difference in her life, that means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, why go to an event, a conference, a session to hang out with the same people you hang out with every single day?
Exactly.
You're there to grow and expand your knowledge, and one of the best ways to do that is to expand your network. Well, Keon, the association certainly appreciates your leadership. Our strategic plan that we have at the association is not President Keon's strategic plan. It's the association's strategic plan, right? And one of the elements of leadership is that there's continuity, that we don't just stop on December 31st and start all over again with President Corwin.
Well, our group chat will. But
well, okay, yeah, Rhea, sorry, you're going to get cut out.
You know how it goes, Rhea.
Well, I have to cut you out of the group chat. That's always tough for me. I have to rearrange my speed dial list every year. But one of the I think strengths of our organization is that Keon has carried the torch this year. She knows that there are elements of the strat plan that continue over into next year and that will continue into future years, and that we continue moving in the right direction. So, Keon, thank you.
Thank you, and we will be in great hands next year.
So, Realtors, we have one final presentation here to make today to President Keon Aldrich, and this is for outstanding leadership as the 2025 President of the South Carolina Association of Realtors. Keon, thank you for your service. It's very cold, and appreciate your leadership and all that you've meant to the association and its 30,000 members this year.
Thank you so much. It's very cold and very heavy.
It's very heavy. It was in the trunk of my car, and it literally feels like ice.
It does feel like a big block of ice, but thank you so much. Thank you, Nick. Thank you to all of our members. It's been a pleasure serving you guys as your president for 2025. I look forward to great things. As I tell all of our members whenever I'm at your association, I did it, you can do it too. I look to see so many of our future leaders standing on the stage, coming towards SCR, being on committees, leadership team, and eventually president. So I know you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Well, Realtors, that wraps up this week's SCR update. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. And Mike, looking back, I think that Halloween special might have been one of my favorite episodes until today. Keon, thanks again for joining me. We've had a lot of fun this year. We've talked a lot about a lot of serious topics as well. We'll continue to provide you information in the new year with all the latest regulatory, legislative, and legal news. But in the meantime, I hope that over this holiday season, our friends that are celebrating Hanukkah and Christmas and all the other holidays this season, please, I hope that you have time to spend with friends and family, make some cherished memories, and stay Realtor strong. And we'll be back again with you in the new year. Thank you, everyone.
Happy holidays. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank y'all so much. Oh, y'all got me good.
It has been my honor to be your number two. I know, and you know, and some of us in this room know the weight that it carries to be the first. I tell people that leadership is stepping forward when other people step back. And it's no different than running into a blazing building. But when you do it, other people know that they can too. That is what this year has been. That's what you have done, Keon. So while we have all prayed for you, that we have prayed God's protection around you, we went beyond that. We believed that God would do everything through you that needed to be done, and He has done it. That deserves recognition. On behalf of myself, look here, we got 16 more days, so don't you get I counted the suckers this moment. Yeah. Y'all please call Keon. She's still president. But on behalf of myself, the rest of the SCR leadership team, executive committee, board of directors, Keon, I want to present you with on the back it says, for outstanding leadership and making history as the first African-American president of the South Carolina Association of Realtors. Outstanding leadership is emblazed on the side. Making history on the other. And on the front, Keon Aldrich, 2025 president, serving as an inspiration, defining the future, driving progress. SCR, you have shown us what can be. Keon. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you guys being here.